Professionalism centers on the mission to make library patrons feel comfortable and welcome. Common sense dictates that we should speak courteously, be reliable, and support patrons to the best of our ability. While frequent front desk interactions may require little more than polite behavior on your part, if you are working as a tutor or research consultant, you will need to be cognizant of the trust inherent in those positions. Your job in those situations is to support your patrons in their information needs without judgment. For example, if a patron approaches you seeking assistance finding research sources on a topic that you find personally questionable or offensive, you should not allow your own biases to enter into that conversation. Keep in mind that just because a patron is researching a topic, it does not necessarily follow that they are personally endorsing that topic. So if a student approached you asking for help finding information about anxiety, for example, you shouldn't assume that they are personally connected to the topic. It could be research for a class assignment, a general interest, or any other number of reasons. Our concern should not be with why a patron wants a certain type or topic of information, but simply how we can best provide them access. Intellectual freedom was mentioned as part of the ALA Code of Professional Ethics. What we mean by this is the right of any student or library patron to seek information of any kind without restriction, judgment, or fear of disclosure. The library is a place of open information, and we seek to provide access without censorship. As the ALA Code of Ethics states, we uphold the principles of intellectual freedom and resist all efforts to censor library resources. Intellectual freedom requires that information should be open and collections should be inclusive. With collection policies in place which govern the materials maintained by our library, we are committed to resisting censorship efforts and ensuring that students have fair access to as much information as possible. Without the assurance of intellectual freedom, a library patron would be far less likely to seek the information they actually want or need, and we would therefore have failed our library's community. If you are providing ongoing or personalized service, such as in the role of a peer research consultant, you should specifically remind your patrons that it is part of your job to keep your conversations completely confidential. If you are working in a shared space, or if there are other patrons in the immediate vicinity, allow a student to write down their request if desired. If you're taking notes as part of patron assistance, don't include personally identifiable information, such as the person's name or student ID. Refrain from discussing the specifics of patron interactions, requests, and consultations with your family, peers, or coworkers. Holding yourself to these standards will ensure that our library remains a place where patrons can expect their intellectual freedom and privacy to be respected.